Hello, welcome to Indie Tutorials. My name is Guillermo and I would like to thank the Patreon supporting this channel. Okay, so to fix the auto-targeting we need to go to the ORK Framework editor and then in the base control maps select our action key map, and for now we were focusing on the Thunder ability, which is mapped to the first slot, and here what we need to do is uncheck use auto target. Right, let's save the changes. So let's review the whole flow. The action map is set to use group target and use individual target. Then the ability itself, Thunder ability, let's close all the settings and let's check the target settings. Open up that one. So we have enemy, single, and none is dead. If we scroll down we have the auto target settings, so let's check that out. Use auto target, we can leave everything as it is. Save the settings. The next part is in the barrel settings, barrel system. Then we have target settings. So let's close everything up, and then we have these individual target settings. So let's add here, add target settings. And here we want to select as well the auto select. We can uncheck only in battle range, and we can add a manually range here, let's say 30 meters with a threshold of 5 meters for example. We can uncheck ignore high distance, and here we can uncheck can select user and can select player, and for the usable in we can leave only real-time battles and the grid battle set to no. Later on we are going to work with the input settings to change the targets, but let's leave it as it is for now. So let's save the changes. And that should be it to fix the auto targeting. But since before leaving the editor, let's go to the barrel settings, and here we have the enemy counter. What this does is to show a number if we have two enemies of the same type, like we have now, like Chomper. Instead of just displaying the name Chomper, it will say Chomper 1 and Chomper 2. That's how in the game also works. So let's click here, instead of none, check numbers, and save the changes of course. And now we can close the editor. After making this change, of course we need to revisit the scripts that we made last video, and let's start with the Invector's third-person controller. So let's open up that one, and I already made the changes, so let's go through them, which is where I commented out the old code that we had in the previous video. But the only change important here is, instead of querying the battle last target, we are not querying the leader selected targets. So if we have at least one target, then we fetch that target at index 0, and then we need to check whether it's not null or the game object of this object is not null, and then we can, in this case, rotate and target to that position, to this enemy position. So this is the change in the third-person controller. Now if we go to the battle manager, the change I did here is in the battle start event. So Previously we didn't were adding the enemy to the CineMachine target group, but now we are. So again, we are just fetching the selected targets from the leader, player leader, and if we have at least one, then we grab it. We check as well if it's not null and if the game object is not null, because we need to pass the transform to the CineMachine target. And if everything is okay, then we set the member of the CineMachine target group. And lastly, what I'm doing here is just to check that change the rotation mode of the CineMachine to manual. Remember that we are going to use the controller stick, the right stick, to orbit the targets. Right? Then right below in the battle tick, since we can remove an enemy when a target when we kill an enemy, then we need to check again, and it is the same thing. So we are checking the selected targets of the leader and apply that to the CineMachine target group. I just kept this commented out for you to update the code, so please feel free to pause the video. I will go ahead and remove these comments just to clean the code, and do the same in the third person controller. Okay, so let's close or minimize Visual Studio or the editor you were using, and we are ready and to go to test. So once again, let's click play or Control P as a shortcut, and let's find jumper and start the battle. So if we were to check our target group camera, we now have both targets already selected. Let me see if I can drag this thing to the side. Okay, so we have jumper, which is this one. So if now we start moving around, you can see in the console down below that lightning is target is jumper 1, so also the numbering is working. So let's start attacking this one and see if the target will change to the second one after we kill the first. There we go. So let's move on now and improve the animation and how the jumper dies.